We're at Raymond James Stadium, where defense has been the name of the game, as the NFC South leading Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with a record of 7-2, entertain their division rivals, the Carolina Panthers, in Week 11 of the NFL on Fox. Hello again, everyone. Welcome aboard. I'm Kurt Menefee, along with my partner, Tim Ryan. And Tim, you take a look at both these squads, and defense has been the story for each all season long.
Well, we're going to see, Kurt, some great defense all over the football field today on both sides of the ball. Number 1 are the Tampa Bay Bucs. Number 3 are the Panthers, and points allowed, that is always a big one. Now, number 1 for the Bucs is for a reason. Probably the 3 best players at their position at each level of the defense. Sapp up front having a big year. Derek Brooks, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and John Lynch, Kurt, Mr. Consistency again. For Carolina defensively, Mike Rucker having a big year. Chris Jenkins has become a major force inside at tackle, and Julius Peppers leads all the NFL with 10 sacks. Now, a note on Julius Peppers, did test positive earlier in the year for a substance called ephedra. He may be suspended for the next 4 games. This could be his last game here today for a while.
Well, let's talk about these two teams meeting for the second time in the last 3 games. And the first time they met, both had to go with backup quarterbacks. That's not the case today.
No, not at all. Brad Johnson and Rodney Peete both come back today, and both are coming off 300-yard games. Now, Kurt, I don't expect those type of numbers today, but I do expect one thing. Whichever one of these quarterbacks gets the most protection is the quarterback that wins this game today.
And we expect you to take part in today's Sprint virtual coach question. Simply use your PCS Vision from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com to answer. We'll be back with the opening kickoff from crazy Tampa, Florida, right after this. Which of 20 miles per hour, and they say by the end of this game, wind chill factors will be in the 40s. The Buccaneers coming off their bye week with a record of 7-2, but John Gruden, of course, in his 4 seasons in Oakland, perfect in the game after the bye week. John Fox, in his first season as head coach of any team, leading this Panther team with a 3-6 record. They won their first 3 games of the year, then have dropped 3 straight. And Tampa Bay has won the toss. You see, because of the wind, Todd Sauerbrunn going to have a holder as he kicks this one off. And it comes up to Aaron Stecker. A little stiff arm on the way, but he's forced out of bounds right at the 30-yard line by Mike Minter. A return of 25, and that gives Brad Johnson good starting field position. Of course, a career-high 5 touchdown passes in that last game, which was 2 weeks ago, against the Vikings. Up front of this offensive line, a veteran group: Oben, Jenkins, Christie, Coleman, and Walker, the 2 youngsters on the right side, but each in their second year. Michael Pittman is the running back, the former member of the Arizona Cardinals. They're trying to get him going. And Keenan McCardell comes back after missing a couple of games due to injury with a bad back at wide receiver. First down from the 30. The pitch to Pittman. Now, we said they're trying to get him going. An 8-yard run on the opening play will do it. Well, this Carolina Panther defense, we mentioned, ranked 3rd in the National Football League. Strong front 4, led by Rucker, Jenkins, Burton in there. Right now, he's replacing, of course,
Brinson
Buckner.
Right.
Thank you, sir, who is out. He's also suspended for a substance abuse violation as well. Second and short. Completes it out to Michael Pittman. That's a first down and more. Into Carolina territory before being forced out of bounds by Julius Peppers right at the 46-yard line, but give him 16 more.
And that's, Kurt, what Tampa Bay wants to do on offense. It's about the balance and completing those little throws underneath. And it's like here they're going to be going with a no huddle, Kurt. No huddle for the Tampa Bay Bucs to start this football game.
Why would you start out like that?
Well, where is Carolina having the worst problems? 2-minute defense, right?
That's true.
That's what you do.
They've lost 5 of their 6 games this year after having the lead in the final 4 minutes of the game.
I think it's actually a great idea from John Gruden in Tampa Bay, because you mentioned 5 of the 6 losses have been in the last few minutes, and this team's given up over 27 points in the last minute of ball games, and it's been in that 2-minute. It's been in that no huddle, and it's been really the inability to process that information quick, Kurt, to make the adjustments. That young defense has trouble doing it.
Well, you see the leads that they have blown down the stretch. Only 1 of their 6 losses have they not had the lead in the closing minutes. And so to try and keep them out of balance, That's what the Buccaneers begin with. After the throwaway, it's 2nd and 10. Pittman again, hit in the backfield by Will Witherspoon. Brought down eventually by Chris Jenkins, but a loss of 3 on the play.
Excellent play by Witherspoon. Recognition and finding the gap and then shooting it. Will Witherspoon, listen, is getting to play because Dan Morgan is hurt. He's the starting middle linebacker. This guy playing in the middle of the field, you'll see him, he makes the read, just shoots the gap, and gets the tackle for the loss on Michael Pittman. And talking to John Fox, he talks about this guy, Will Witherspoon, is an explosive young player with a lot of big playability.
From Panama City, Florida. On 3rd and long, they have to get it to the 36-yard line for the first. Carolina jumped early, so it'll be a free play for Brad Johnson as he completes it out. And that's caught by Joe Jaravicius. Plenty of yardage for the first down, nonetheless, despite the penalty flag. 22 on the play.
That's a smart quarterback right there, knowing that the defense was offsides, knowing he has a free play, and going ahead and getting it out to Jaravicius, who will be there as Cousins fakes the corner blitz.
77 defense, penalties decline, first down.
Jaravicius makes his break, and then again, a good decision from Brad Johnson just to go ahead and get the free play, get rid of that football. How about the long count? What do you do against a team that's a great pass rushing team, and this Carolina team's the best in the NFL? Long counts. Try to draw those guys offsides.
Joe Jaravicius in his first game back after missing the contest against Minnesota. Sprained his knee and his ankle in that last game against Carolina. So after the pickup, they're at the 22-yard line, first down. Johnson to Mike Alstott. And his first touch of the ball game, good for 3 yards. Will Witherspoon with the tackle.
This offense wants to come out and get things going immediately, get themselves into the end zone, and that's what you do against a great defense. I mean, try to get things going while they're off guard, because you know as the game goes on, this Carolina defense will make adjustments with the D coordinator and Jack Del Rio. Now, one thing to keep in mind is this Tampa team, Kurt, approaching the red zone. Carolina has not been very good. As a matter of fact, one of the worst in the league with their backs against the wall down in their own end zone.
But they've allowed teams inside the 20 less than any other team. So getting there has been the problem. Aaron Stecker won't, as he's hitting the backfield and loses the football. Terry Cousin on the recovery. Pitches it out to Hannibal Navies, who gives it to Julius Peppers, and they get it all the way to the 40-yard line. There's a flag. May have been a forward lateral, but that'll be after they recovered the football.
That's right. That came late, as it looked like Peppers just got the lateral there. It was more of a handoff, and then you saw the flag come in. But how about Fields getting up and forcing the issue on that play? Mark Fields, a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, against this Tampa Bay team, 14 tackles. Just plays off of Oben here. And
fumble was recovered. The player advanced, but number 53 threw an illegal forward pass. That's going to be a 5-yard penalty. The recovering team will keep the ball. First down.
Bottom line,
Timeout.
Carolina retains possession after recovering the fumble from Aaron Stecker.
Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
Defensive end Mike Rucker forced that fumble by Aaron Stecker, and we talked about the two defenses. Carolina's defense comes up first.
Yeah, and they make a big play there, and I'll tell you, Rucker is an effort guy. He'll go get plays, but half of that is just pure effort by Mike Rucker.
Panthers begin at the 30-yard line. 2 tight ends in the game, and they hand it off to Lamar Smith. Second effort by Smith. He picks up a nice run of 11 yards before being brought down by Dexter Jackson. Back to the fumble.
Here's the fumble. Here's the big key here. Now, Fields is going to force the issue and get up, but watch Pittman. Here he's going to try to crack back on Rucker, completely misses it, and then Mike Rucker will come in and force the fumble on Stecker. And that's just Rucker just sniffing it out, giving great effort and getting over there and knocking that ball loose, making a huge play for his team.
And the big play on first down got him out to the 41-yard line. The pitch to Smith. Lamar Smith made a nice move. Derek Brooks wraps him up, and he picks up 3, but Brooks had him spied out in the backfield. Now Rodney Peete, coming off his second 300-yard game of the season, Hadn't had one in 10 years.
How about that?
Before this year.
2 in his first 13 years, and then a couple this year.
Stussy, Nesbitt, Mitchell, Donnelly, and Terry, the guys up front. You've seen Lamar Smith already carry the ball in the backfield. Muhsin Muhammad and Steve Smith, their 2 wide receivers. Moose, the big possession guy. Smith, the small, speedy guy. Pete, and that was a bad pass. Incomplete, intended for Muhsin Muhammad. The number 1 ranked defense in all the league. Simeon Rice, Chartrick Darby, Warren Sapp, and Greg Spires, the 4 guys up front. His linebacking crew led, of course, by Derek Brooks, already has 4 interceptions and 4 touchdowns on the season. And in the secondary, it's a strong group. Rondé Barber and Brian Kelly, John Lynch, and Dexter Jackson.
I got you.
On 3rd and long, they have to get the 49 of Tampa Bay. Pete. Muhammad. First down, Carolina. Brian Kelly wraps him up.
The key there is the good time for Rodney Peete to throw the football. You can see they have not done a lot in the 9 first possessions that they've had this year. You get that, Kurt? 9 first possessions, 9 games.
Oh, okay, that's one per game? Is
yeah,
that
one per game is usually how that works. But
a lot of 3 and outs there. I see 7.
A lot of them. And remember now, few of the games have been without Rodney Peete. Randy Fasani was back there. Rod, of course, comes back last week, and he means everything to this team offensively.
I got you.
First down in Tampa Bay territory. Here comes the pressure. Pete completes it out to his big tight end, Wesley Walls. And Walls down to the 34-yard line, a gain of 14.
Talking to Rodney last night, he said, hey, Wesley Walls has got to be a bigger part of this offensive game plan here. And here he is. He's going to come drag over the middle, sit down. Wesley Walls this guy's been in the league. This is his 14th year as well.
Same as Rodney Peete.
Same as Rodney Peete, and he's been banged up this year, but is absolutely a weapon in the middle of the field.
Old guys have to take care of one another. The handoff to Lamar Smith. He gets through a hole into the secondary and fights his way for a nice gain of 10 yards.
This is where teams have been able to attack this Tampa Bay defense, right between the defensive tackles. Of course, Anthony McFarland out. Chartrick Darby is filling in for him up at nose guard there, number 91, as you see him here. And this is the area that teams want to get in, and they'll get up inside, and Lamar Smith will just make the most of it. See Hoover leading up inside, and then Lamar with the vision knows to go north and south, and they'll take 9 yards every time.
He's about a half yard shy of the first down. 2 tight ends in for Carolina. They give it to Smith again. This will be close to that first down marker. Alshamon Singleton and Greg Spires on the tackle. We'll see where they spot this one.
Yeah, this one's going to be close. Won't be surprised if they come out and measure this one. Absolutely.
Now,
Bob
see, I would say that it would depend on the spot, but you know what? Don't they all? When does it not depend on the spot?
I think you're right. I think you're right. And this is an accurate spot here.
And that's why I won't use that cliche.
Okay, good.
Good. You know. So they bring the sticks out to measure.
Back to that graphic we were talking about a couple of minutes ago. Think about it. 9 games, not one score, not a field goal, not a touchdown, nothing for this Carolina Panther offense all year long on the first drive.
Which means most likely that's why they have to play from behind all the time. They don't get points early.
About 6 inches short.
You see they are just that short. So it is 3rd and a couple of inches away from the first down. We saw the Carolina Panther defense force a turnover in a similar situation on the opening drive at the other end of the field. Here we are, 8th play of this drive. We'll see what the Buccaneer defense can do. Ball right on the 25-yard line. 2 tight ends in. Smith, the lone setback. And Lamar Smith hit right at the line of scrimmage. There's a flag down on the play as well. Warren Sapp wrapped him up. That's going to be offsides against Tampa Bay, so it won't matter whether or not he got enough because they'll get the first down on the penalty.
Looks like it's one of the interior guys.
Offside, number 91, defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that's what those defensive linemen do. You can see Darby's head right there just over the football. And that's what they do, Kurt, especially in short yardage. I mean, low man wins in that situation. If you can get a jump and try to establish that line of scrimmage on their side of the football, meaning the offense, you've done your job. And
I just don't understand how you, on top of the ball, line up in the wrong place, though.
No, that's a nose guard.
Happens all the time. So they get the first down on the penalty. Ball at the 20-yard line. And penalty markers down once again. Play clock may have run out.
Delay of the game, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, that's the way to give the 5 yards back, although you did get the first down.
Watch John Lynch, what he does. I mean, everything to confuse Rodney Peete. He'll jump over to the strong side, go weak, of course going with the yo-yo motion, and you'll see Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator, do a lot of that with these guys for Tampa Bay. A lot of different stuff scheme-wise, try to get into the head of the opposing quarterback. There's Monty Kiffin there, who's been terrific here, 7 years in Tampa Bay, and tops in defense just about every year in the top 5.
Lamar Smith fighting his way for 5 tough yards. Al Singleton was the first guy to get him, but a lot of red jerseys around him afterwards, and he just kept on pushing. You see in this Carolina offense that they deem it important to score early in this game.
Absolutely, and they have to. I mean, as close as they've been in situations at the end of the games and how they've lost games, be critical for them to be able to get a punch in, get a score here against this great Tampa Bay defense. And that'll give you a little confidence, Kurt, for the rest of this football game.
And you don't have to play from behind against the #1 defense in the league.
Who loves the pass rush.
I got you.
On second down, play action. Pete Smith in the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina Panthers. Steve Smith right in front of John Lynch for the 20-yard score.
The key is the time for Rodney Peete versus the cover 2 to throw the football. Steve Smith's going to come in here, and then he will break back outside. John Lynch responsible for that part of the field, and Steve Smith goes up and gets a perfect throw from Rodney Peete.
Shane Graham on for the extra point. Knuckleball goes in nonetheless. And Steve Smith's second touchdown of the season. First time all year that the Panthers have scored on their opening possession. They lead it 7-0. Carolina Panthers took a fumble by Aaron Stecker 70 yards down the field and put points on the board. The touchdown variety this time, and lead it 7-0. The kickoff from Todd Sauerbrunn. Aaron Stecker at his goal line. He's hit hard. Oof. Boy, Brad Jackson, 18 yards on the return.
All about the time. Steve Smith up here is going to come and go all the way across the field. These guys are back. The safety's in cover 2, but it's the time that Rodney Peete has to let this play develop. Sees him on Lynch and then fires a perfect throw. It's all about the protection up front. As you see, Max protect. Wesley Walls tight end stays in. Mangum stays in. You got 6-7 guys blocking 4.
Bucks began quick pass, and that was batted at the line of scrimmage. Almost picked off by Terry Cousin, but it falls incomplete. Well, this Carolina defense not only stopping Tampa Bay on the first drive, but then this offense turns it into a touchdown.
And there has to be something, Kurt, needs to be said for that, because Tampa Bay has been terrific defensively in the red zone this year. There is not a team better. Carolina marched it down the field and punched it in.
Well, technically they didn't get in the red zone there, so I guess it keeps that stat good, huh? Michael Pittman on the carry, and Pittman picks up maybe 2 yards on the play. Shane Burton in on the tackle. And picking up a little extra turf while he's at it.
Keyshawn there, and of course Keyshawn calls himself the best blocking wide receiver in the National Football League. Matched up with a safety there, Minter, and a little attitude.
I think he is the best blocking.
Yeah, I don't think that was his best shot.
No, well, you know, the play was run inside him, you know.
He's got great size.
3 wide receivers in on third down. They have to get the 27-yard line. Penalty flags down on the play.
See those numbers for Keyshawn Lasser a couple of weeks ago before the bye week against Minnesota.
Number 19, Offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Keyshawn anxious to repeat those numbers. He had 9 catches for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game, and a little anxious on 3rd down this time.
He says he has not faced single coverage, Kurt, in this league since his rookie year with the Jets. Every game since his rookie year, he said he has been some form of double coverage or help coverage on Keyshawn Johnson.
That's what happens when you're the #1 overall pick in the draft like he was in '96.
Still put up 106 grabs last year.
3rd and long. Doing good. Stecker out of the backfield. Has a block. Still will be stopped about 4 yards shy of the 1st down. Julius Peppers in on the tackle, and so we'll have our first punt of the game, but second defensive stand by Carolina.
Very good defensive stand and smart defense there by D coordinator Jack Del Rio, keeping everybody back. Like pretty good execution on that screen, but knowing how far they had to go. He knows he's got some good tacklers back there, Kurt, that can come up, make a stop, and make the team punt.
And Steve Smith, who had the touchdown reception, back to take the punt from Tom Tupa. Low line drive kick, and the wind kind of pushes it over and out of bounds. And during pregame, we saw more trouble with the punters than the kickers because of the swirling wind here at Raymond James Stadium. Here on the Gulf Coast. Man, it is rough seas out there, especially for Tampa Bay's offense, facing these guys on Carolina's defense so far today. They forced 1. Carolina takes over at the 34. Lamar Smith. Short pickup of 2 yards on the play. Checking some of the early scores from the National Football League today. The Giants and Redskins, about 2 minutes left in that ball game. Giants still on top. Minnesota upsetting Green Bay, just Green Bay's 2nd loss of the year. Philadelphia gets back on the winning track. Atlanta knocks off New Orleans, and Indianapolis clobbers Dallas 20-3 the final there.
What is it about the Metrodome for the Green Bay Packers?
Tennessee over Pittsburgh. Jacksonville beats Houston. Kansas City 1 point better than Buffalo, and Cleveland a touchdown better than Cincinnati. On 2nd down, Lamar Smith on the delayed draw. Smith picks up 6 yards on the run. Shelton Quarles on the tackle.
This is going to be a play that we're going to see a lot of today by the Carolina Panthers. Draws to Lamar Smith. First of all, he's very good at running them because of his vision and his patience. But secondly, those are the types of plays that Tampa Bay has had problems with. I mean, you were reviewing the film from a couple weeks ago against Minnesota. Michael Bennett goes 85 yards against him. I mean, the draws have really hurt this Tampa football team defensively.
They need a big stop on 3rd down. The 43-yard line is what Carolina's after. Beat the pass, gets it to Smith, who gets there. And he's brought down right at the 48, but that's good enough for a 1st down. Derek Brooks finally stops him, but after he picked up 6 yards.
Smith is a pretty strong guy, and he's in his first year as a full-time starter. Matched up here out on the edge. And just comes with a little slant route, and then, again, the strength to get the football and stay with it. I mean, he's shown that several times this year that when the football's up there, Kurt, he's going to go get it, and he usually wins that battle.
Well, you see 6 first downs on 8 third down catches. 3 wide receivers in on 1st. Pete going up top, wide open, and overthrown is Muhsin Muhammad. He had Dwight Smith beat.
Oh, he did. Dwight Smith fell down, and Rodney Peete just missed him. Just trips over his own feet, falls down, and Rodney knows he missed one here. He knew that right when he let it go, that he overthrew him. One thing Rodney Peete does a great job of, did a great job back when we played together, Kurt, at USC. He's got a great deep ball. He's got great touch on the long ball.
Dwight Smith turning around looked like Yao Ming in the lane. His feet all tangled up everywhere. D. Brown gets back to the line of scrimmage, breaks a couple of tackles, and makes a nice run of 5 yards.
Well, we talked about how sweet Rodney is when he's dropping in the deep ball. Maybe today he'll have some problems with that right pinky finger, or the middle finger rather, on Rodney Peete. What he did was he tore that flexor tendon at the end of that finger. So the end of his finger just falls. He basically can't hold it up. He's got a special splint. Remember, that's his throwing hand.
Maybe it affected him on that long bomb.
Guy is so beat up. And you'll see here his left finger also dislocated in that football game last week.
On third down, they have to get it to the 42. Under pressure, he loses the football and just falls on it. Tampa Bay coming in. Greg Spires was the guy to knock the ball out of his hand.
Here's Rodney taking the snap. There's the dislocated left finger. And remember, it's the right one where he tore the flexor tendon at the end of the finger. So he's got some beat up digits, and Spires will come around and just bat that ball down right there. And goes around Terry and reaches out with his left hand and bats it out of Rodney's hands.
So it's Tampa Bay's defense winning that series as they force a punt from Todd Sauerbrunn.
That forced fumble, Kurt, also counts as a sack.
Sauerbrunn barely gets it off. Carl Williams from the 8. Williams is wrapped up by Chris Mangum. Falcons against the Panthers, or Brett Favre and the first-place Packers looking to get past Warren Sapp and the East Bucks, plus other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Fox. 50 seconds to go in the first quarter here in Tampa. Carolina holding on to that 7-0 lead. Brad Johnson picks up the fumble snap and gets it out to Keyshawn Johnson. And Keyshawn picks up 9 yards on the reception.
Fumble on the snap, and Brad just bends down and picks it up, and it's one thing he does. He'll fire it and get rid of that football quick. That's Keyshawn Johnson, who thought he took a late hit from Will Witherspoon as he goes out of bounds.
Spread Mike Alstott out. Now he goes in motion. They hand it off to Michael Pittman, who gets the first down. Pittman out to the 30-yard line. Will Witherspoon in on the tackle, but 7 more yards by Pittman, who so far in this game looks as aggressive running the football as he has all season long.
I think everybody forgets, Kurt, that Michael Pittman has about 690 total yards of offense. He's been very effective catching the football, and he's been effective running the football. Doesn't have the big yards, but has been efficient for this offense.
Into the first quarter, it's, I don't know if he's still Boy Wonder or just Chucky. John Gruden, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in his first season here. Got this team off to a 7-2 start. Of course, had been out in Oakland the previous 4 years, winning the AFC West the last 2. Out of the backfield, Michael Pittman. Pittman leapfrogs his way out for 9 yards. We leapfrog out to Los Angeles and JB for our first game break.
Hey, Kurt, and leapfrogging first on the scoreboard is San Diego as Drew Brees hooks up with Reche Caldwell, a 4-yard strike, and it is the Chargers on top of San Francisco by a touchdown. Back to Kurt and Tim.
All right, JB. Tampa Bay going with that quick offense once again. Second and short, Johnson. Quick pass out to Ken Dilger, who's hit immediately. And that pass is broken up. Mike Minter doing the damage.
Brad Johnson just takes his first real shot of this football game by Shane Burton, and Ken Dilger down on the field there.
Dilger took a shot as well.
Yeah, he did.
From Minter, and he has yet to get up.
Boy, but back to Brad Johnson. I mean, it's got
on the sideline. Third and short. They need less than a yard. Mike Alstott gets it. 6 yards on the run as he's wrapped up by Deion Grant.
Here's the injury to Dilger here, and it's Mike Minter here at strong safety that's going to come up and put the driving tackle through Dilger, knock the football loose, and this is where Dilger was hurt. And the first down by Mike Alstott, right up the gut. Good cut inside, good block by Jameel Cook. And the Alstott just always falls forward.
3 wide receivers in on first down. Johnson out to Keenan McCardell. Nice catch by him as he had to wrestle it away for a 12-yard pickup. Terry
Cousins thought he had this one.
Yeah.
matched up man coverage with Keenan McCardell, and of course there's Cousins, and watch him come over the top thinking he's going to steal this interception. Reads it, sees it. Terrific throw from Brad Johnson.
Another big play on first down by the Buccaneers. You see they're averaging 6 yards on first today.
And John Gruden said that would be a huge statistic this afternoon.
Play action. Over the middle of the field to his other tight end, Ricky Dudley. And Dudley makes the catch for 21 more.
Middle of the field, wide open. This is where New Orleans was able to attack Carolina last week, and Ricky Dudley be coming out here over to the middle, right over Will Witherspoon. And that's what I talked about in the meetings, Kurt. I said, is Witherspoon going to have problems being a new guy with the scheme with John Gruden's passing game in the middle of the field? And there was a perfect example of it.
First down at the 20-yard line. 8th play of the drive. Michael Pittman. And he picks up 5 more, and I tell you, I know I said it once before, but this is as aggressively as we have seen Pittman run since coming to Tampa Bay. This is how he ran when he was in Arizona, and the reason they signed him in the offseason.
And you can tell by looking at him, he's got plenty of pop. That's for sure. I think that's his style of play that made him so attractive, and coming over here to John Gruden was his ability just to go 100%, Kurt, on every play and just lay it out on the line. And this is a guy that's not worried about letting up, not worried about anything except being crazy out there on the football field, and the way he runs, he's all over the place.
They've got 4 wide receivers in here on second down. Johnson looking for one of them, gets it out to Keyshawn Johnson, down inside the 5-yard line. 12 yards on the reception, and the Buccaneers have the ball at the 3.
Talked about the offensive line and how they're going to have to protect. Watch Walker on Julius Peppers, just keeping him out on the edge. Cozy Coleman coming over to help, and of course allows the time for Keyshawn to drag across the middle. And then Brad hits him, and you'll see a lot of that. You'll see 3, 4 guys around Keyshawn Johnson, and Brad Johnson doesn't care. He'll throw it to number 19.
First red zone possession of the ball game for either team. First and goal from the 3-yard line. To the back of the end zone, thrown incomplete. Pressure coming from Julius Peppers on Brad Johnson.
Good recognition there by Julius Peppers, the rookie, on the bootleg action. Not biting on all the action away, and gets into Brad Johnson's face, forces him to throw that football out of the end zone. And we talked about it, this area of the field for Carolina, Kurt, on defense. A lot of teams haven't driven the ball. They haven't been in the red zone versus Carolina, but when they have, and it had been 14 times, actually 15 counting today, 9 times they've scored touchdowns on this Carolina defense.
On second and goal. Pittman diving, hit in the air, and did not get there. He went airborne maybe a little bit early and got rocked while he was in the air by one of the Carolina defenders. I believe it was Will Witherspoon.
It was the rookie out of Georgia, Will Witherspoon. You'll see him here. He's going to come meet Pittman right there at the line of scrimmage. Pittman leaves his feet. Will Witherspoon's going to deliver the shot. And as you see, Michael Pittman did not get the football or any part of his body over the plane of the goal line until he was already down.
Third and goal from less than a yard away. Mike Alstott hit in the backfield and stood up. Mike Minter was the first guy to get there.
Confidence, momentum has got to be going by the way of the Carolina Panthers right now. Mike Minter shooting the gap from the outside, lays the shot on Mike Alstott. That's huge.
Oh, do you go for it this early in the game?
I'd kick it. If it were me, I would kick it and get the points. John Gruden has decided he wants a touchdown.
4th and a yard. Alstott deep in the backfield along with Jameel Cook. Off the play action. Wide open, Keyshawn Johnson, touchdown, Tampa Bay.
That's why John Gruden's the coach, Kurt. That's why I'm standing up here in the booth as an analyst and knew the mismatch by the formation, had Keyshawn on the rookie Will Witherspoon. Brad Johnson let it develop and dropped it in for an easy score. Keyshawn has not been the guy in the red zone up until a couple of weeks ago. Now they can't keep this guy out of the end zone.
3 touchdowns in the last 2 games for Keyshawn. He'd had 2 touchdowns in his previous 25 before that. Martin Gramatica for the extra point. Puts it through, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have evened up the score. Brad Johnson takes a licking, but keeps this Tampa Bay offense ticking. On Johnson, Will Witherspoon.
I think the Key won that battle.
I think so. They were matched up against one another. Keyshawn with a 1-yard touchdown catch to even the score. And so it's a short kick taken by Jermaine Wiggins. Wiggins all the way out to the 38-yard line. Good starting field position for Carolina as they try and...
Here's a perfect example of John Gruden's offense. Will Witherspoon, middle backer, has the number 2 receiver over here. It ends up being this guy, Keyshawn Johnson. Will Witherspoon gets locked up inside. Keyshawn outside. Witherspoon cannot catch up to him. John Gruden knew that mismatch was there and attacked it. And then watch here as Mike Rucker comes through and gets a hit on Brad Johnson, but Brad already knew he had 6 points.
Starting from their own 38-yard line is Carolina. The pitch to Lamar Smith. Smith hit right at the line of scrimmage by Chartrick Darby. Darby, a kid out of South Carolina State, actually from the town of North South Carolina, and he's getting an opportunity to play this season, mainly because the injury to Booger McFarland broke his forearm a couple of weeks ago, and here's a kid we saw a couple of years ago in NFL Europe with the Barcelona Dragons.
And Rod Marinelli, the defensive line coach, just loves this guy. You see all the NFL Europe alumni on the football field today. Folks, they're everywhere. They are all over the NFL. Terrific developmental league for this league.
Pete. Up top, and it's broken up, intended for Steve Smith, but Brian Kelly was there to knock it away.
Brian Kelly has really played good football this year for the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think a lot of it, Kurt, is because he's been tested each and every week because how good Rondé Barber is over on the other side. Man coverage with Steve Smith, makes the break, and gets himself a nice pass breakup there for Brian Kelly. Just one of those guys, Kurt, that has developed in this system that has been able to step in for Monty Kiffin and play great football.
3rd and long. They have to get it to the 48-yard line. Blitz coming. Pete going up top once again for Muhammad and overthrows. Dwight Smith was there on the coverage, but it will be a 3-and-out forced by this Buccaneer defense.
Remember that momentum thing I said when Tampa Bay missed on that 3rd down? Well, they've got it all back here. Coming with a zone blitz, and Rodney just has to get rid of this. When the zone blitz gets in his face too quick, figures he'll just throw it up to the Moose and Muhammad, and just overthrew him.
So Todd Sauerbrunn on to punt. Carl Williams, the deep man. Another low kick. Williams takes it at the 18. Not much on the return, just 3 yards. Rod Smart stops him. We won't even tell you that he hate me. Kurt Menefee along with Tim Ryan here from Tampa, Florida. Well, the sun is set. The temperatures have cooled off, but both these defenses remain hot so far. Bucks start at the 22. Quick pass out to Mike Alstott. Lowers his shoulder, going to be near that 1st down marker. Let's go out to Los Angeles and check in with JB for another game break.
All right, fellas, take a look. NASCAR South Division, as Howie likes to call it, Atlanta and New Orleans. This is Michael Vick. 74 of his 160 passing yards came on that one play to Trevor Gaylor. It was Atlanta proving to be victorious, improving to 6-3-1, staying right in the thick of it in that NASCAR South. Back to Kurt and Tim.
JB, if this is NASCAR South, then Michael Vick is Tony Stewart, who won the Cup championship today. Maybe a little Dale Earnhardt Jr., plus a little Rainbow Warrior all mixed into one. This kid is unbelievable. And next week, Carolina will get a chance to see Michael Vick up close and in person as the Falcons visit the Panthers next Sunday.
He is, without question, the most exciting player in this entire league. We've covered him a few times. We'll be doing the game next week against this Carolina football team, and believe me, there's no one more fun to watch than Michael Vick.
Alstott got enough for the first down after the measurement. So it's a first down at the 32. Michael Pittman loses the football. And we'll see which direction it goes here. Everyone, obviously, on the Carolina sideline, right near that football, thinks they got it, and the officials agree.
Looked like Dante Wesley that came up and forced that ball loose.
Well, this will be the second turnover as you see Mike Rucker come up with
it. Here, let me clean this baby off.
Everybody's looking for it. He's got it.
Taking this one home with me.
Second turnover by Tampa Bay so far, both forced fumbles by Carolina.
And here's Mike Rucker, the right defensive end, as you see there, but I believe it's Wesley there that comes up and forces that football loose on Pittman. That's a rookie, hasn't played a lot of football for Carolina, has given the opportunity today and comes up with a huge play.
2 turnovers in 4 possessions. Excellent starting field position at the 29-yard line.
Talked about big defense today.
They hand it off, and Lamar Smith wrapped up in the backfield by Warren Sapp. And Smith will lose 3 yards on the play, and Big Warren coming through with a big-time play.
Well, that play was dead before it even started. As Rodney Pete looked like he pivoted the wrong way, and like the Keystone Cops as he's trying to hand it off to Lamar. Warren Sapp, another tackle for loss for his stat sheet.
On second down, Pete completes to Wesley Walls, and Walls with a pickup of 8 yards. Derek Brooks on the tackle. Walls slow to get up.
He's had one of those years, Kurt, where he's had so many nagging injuries.
Well, you've got to remember, this is his 14th season, and he's missed the end of the last 2 years with knee injuries.
That's right. Missed all of last year with an ACL. Wesley will get out there and sit down. Rodney delivers the football, and
likely just got the wind knocked out of him, the way he's raising his hands there, trying to catch his breath. May have been a shot to the back there. John Lynch.
Shot from Lynch that shook him up there. And this is where he's the most critical to this offense, down in this area.
3rd and short, they need the 19. Pump fake, Pete. And some miscommunication there as he had 2 receivers in the same area and didn't hit either.
That's what this Tampa defense does to you. And it looks like there's an opening back there, and then it's shut off. When you've got that kind of speed in their back 7, really all over their defense, but every guy in that back 7, Kurt, I mean, if they get an interception or a fumble, they'll go goal line to goal line. They can all run, and they close those gaps down in a hurry and make it difficult for quarterbacks to
Shane Graham to attempt the field goal into the wind from 42 yards away. And he has absolutely no problem with it as it goes through. Giving, something they're not unused to. Holding on to the lead has been the problem for them so far this season.
Yeah, they haven't been able to finish games, but I give John Fox a lot of credit. And this team has lost 6 in a row, but remember, 1-15 last year. They haven't hung their heads. They know that they've been in every football game, had a chance to win 8 of 9, conceivably. I mean, everybody could be better. This team could be 8-1 or 7-2. And also, I give them a lot of credit for keeping Shane Graham. Remember earlier in the year, he missed that kick, game 4 against Green Bay, and everybody wanted him gone. Fox kept him, and he's been a pretty good kicker this year.
And remember, he was their 3rd kicker after the injury to John Casey. Aaron Stecker picks up the kickoff. Bounces off a couple of tackles and gets out to the 39-yard line. 32 yards on a nice return by Stecker. Well, coming up this February, the world's best drivers return to Fox with the 45th running of the Great American Race. The Daytona 500 drops the flag on 15 weeks of NASCAR coverage, returning this February to Fox. And as we said, congratulations to Tony Stewart, who won the Winston Cup's point championship today. All he needed to do was just finish that race, basically, anywhere 22nd on end. And he took care of business down in Miami, down in Homestead to be exact, to win his first points title on the NASCAR circuit. Brad Johnson, Keyshawn Johnson, into Carolina territory at the 44-yard line, a gain of 17.
Let's give this offensive line a lot of credit for building off the momentum from a couple of weeks ago against Minnesota. They gave up no sacks in that football game. They get the blitz pickup here, which is going to come up inside. Pittman steps up. Brad's got all day to throw, fires the ball out to a big Keyshawn Johnson. And anytime you're as big as Keyshawn, you can sit in that zone and look at Weppers.
Julius Peppers and
Kenyatta Walker. That's right. That's a matchup that we'll keep our eye on all day long.
Oh, they're so close together in that shot. I see how you meld their names. Walker's, Peppers. Ken Doger back in the game at tight end. Johnson gets it out to Keyshawn Johnson once again, this time for 8 more.
And attacking the middle of the field. Carolina vulnerable in that area. Remember, they've got their backup linebacker, Will Witherspoon, out there. As Dan Morgan was lost with a hernia, he'll be back in a couple of weeks. And Witherspoon, the rookie there, has to worry about the plays, getting them in from the sideline to the defense. And then, of course, all the scheme stuff that John Gruden does with formations and movement to get the young players confused.
Second and short. Panthers showing blitz, and Johnson decides to take the timeout.
And did not like that look at all. That's something we haven't seen flying. Brad Johnson does not like this look. Timeout. Let's talk it over.
On 2nd and 2. Johnson slipped, regains his footing, pump fakes, goes up top. Keyshawn Johnson can't pull it in. Incomplete. Terry Cousin in with the tight coverage.
Good coverage by Terry Cousin and Dion Grant. Great job coming over the top with the safety help. Terry Cousin is going to have Keyshawn, bites a little on the double move, going to have him the whole way. And then Grant comes over and helps knock that football out. I mean, that's just good double coverage defense, the way you draw it up.
You know, one thing watching the field, Tim, I've seen Dante Wesley, cornerback, force that fumble earlier, has been in playing a lot of corner. Reggie Howard is the guy who's been sitting out. On 3rd and short, Johnson over the middle. Joe Jaravicius makes a move inside the 20. Jaravicius all the way down to the 9-yard line. Mike Minter finally stopped him, but give Jaravicius 26 yards.
Well, they love having Joe Jaravicius back. Missed the game with the ankle injury, of course, and get him matched up again, Kurt. In the middle of the field, here in the slot on Will Witherspoon, the rookie 54 there, slips. You slip in man coverage, you're dead. And then Jaravicius picking up another 15, 20 yards after the catch.
Of course, he came over in the offseason as a free agent from the New York Giants.
No backs right now.
Empty backfield. Johnson throws to the end zone. McCardell too high, incomplete.
I mean, if you're Jack Del Rio, you need to figure out how to get your rookie some help in the middle of that field in Will Witherspoon. He has been exploited really this whole first half by John Gruden and what Tampa Bay wants to do offensively. It is clear that that's the area of the field they want to exploit. They've done that. Del Rio there, the defensive coordinator, needs to try to help out Will Witherspoon with some scheme.
Of course, the rookie playing for the injured Dan Morgan. First run of this drive, and Michael Pittman takes it all the way down to the 2-yard line.
Got the edge here on Mike Rucker, who's going to be right here, and it's going to get outside him. Watch the block from Keyshawn Johnson. Just enough to crack down, get Rucker pushed inside a little bit. Give that back an edge, and then Pittman does the rest with his acceleration and speed.
3rd and goal from the 2-yard line. Johnson Pump fake, loses the football in the process, but fell on it to recover. They call it an incomplete pass.
That's a good call.
Yes. We saw the arm was coming forward.
Definitely was coming forward, and the ball just fell out.
Whoops.
That's incomplete pass.
So they will have to settle for the field goal attempt after this miscue.
Good red zone defense from Carolina. And remember, this team is in every game until the very end. Save yourself 4 points there. It's big.
Martin Gramatica on for the 20-yard field goal attempt. That's blocked. And it still goes through.
Maybe a blessing, Kurt, that it was blocked.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. If you can be both, it can be special. Hey, speaking of special, let's get it out to Los Angeles and JB for another game break.
Hey, Kurt, Pittsburgh lost more than the game today in the third quarter. Tommy Maddox was hit hard by Keith Bullock, was knocked out. When he awakened, he had no sensation in his lower extremities. We understand that there is some sensation now in his upper body and lower extremities. We'll keep you updated as we get the information. And Donovan McNabb, on a third play of the game, sacked by Adrian Wilson, breaks his ankle. He could miss the entire season. He went on to play the entire game, though, staying in the pocket, and for the first time had no rushes, was 20 of 25. Back to Kurt and Tim.
Wow, and those are two teams that have big expectations for the postseason. And you look at it, McNabb has never had a serious injury before, and right now, I don't care how good a defense you have, McNabb is what makes that Philadelphia team run.
Really, both teams. I mean, are there any two teams in the NFL right now that are more quarterback-driven than Pittsburgh and Philadelphia? I mean, Tommy Maddox has made a huge difference this year up in Pittsburgh.
Saw a stat where they had scored 4 touchdowns in every game that Maddox had started since taking over. Totally turned that offense around, but Philadelphia, that's a huge blow to their postseason hopes after being in the NFC Championship game last year. They thought they might have enough to go further this season.
The way they've been playing defense, I really enjoyed the way Tommy Maddox was managing the football game. Let's just hope and pray, Kurt, that everything's going to be all right and that he does get full feeling back in those lower extremities and he'll be okay.
So after the lucky break on the field goal attempt, Martin Gramatica to kick things off. D. Brown muffs it in the end zone. It comes out and it's scooped up by Nathan Black.
Here's the blocked field goal, and Shane Burton is going to be the guy out here that comes in the edge, but and this is a blessing. This football looked like it was going to be kicked, pulled to the left. There it is. Burton gets a hand on it, deflects it up to the right through the uprights.
Shane Burton has blocked 6 field goal attempts in his career. This may be the first one that ever went through, though, after he hit it.
You see it going left?
Double clutch on that. Steve Smith going nowhere with the pass reception on first down. Derek Brooks making sure.
Some guys, Kurt, and back to the block, Shane Burton, I mean, they have that knack. And once you block 3, 4, 5 of those, and there's Shane there, once you do that, you start to believe you can do it. You start to visualize yourself blocking field goals, blocking those extra points, and I'll tell you, this game is big on visualization. You visualize yourself making big plays. Believe it or not, more times than not, you end up making those plays in the ball game.
Wesley Walls back in the game at tight end on 2nd and long. Lamar Smith. Not much running room. He gets maybe 3 yards on the run. Al Singleton on the tackle. Tampa Bay calls the timeout right before the 2-minute warning. Turnover. All their points today have come out turnovers. You see they get the touchdown after driving it. 65 yards officially, but they got the ball at the 30-yard line.
Their defense, Kurt, has done that all year.
Yeah.
They've given them opportunities, kept them in football games, and Heck, even the game here 3 weeks ago ended up being 12-9. Tampa Bay won that football game. Neither team had their starting quarterbacks, but that defense, and there they are, the defensive line has really had a terrific year.
Carolina's offense has to get to the 25. Pete from Muhammad battling with Brian Kelly, who picks it off. And Brian Kelly with the big interception for the Buccaneers right at the 2-minute warning. His 4th of the season. They'll have excellent field position when we return.
Gets the jam on him there. Forces Moosen outside. Perfect coverage. Now it's just up for grabs. Kelly goes up and gets that interception. Great position. Moosen Muhammad there trying to just play defense. Able to hang on to it with one hand, and Moosen thought he was grabbed and held a little bit beyond that 5-yard chuck rule, and of course it did look like Brian Kelly rerouted him, Kurt, about 8 yards down the field, but either way, good defense in my opinion.
Both teams,
big interception.
Looks like both guys were fighting for the ball. That's there, right. And you see the Buccaneers leading the NFL. That's their 19th interception in this game, number 10. So they begin at the 44 of Carolina. 3 wide receivers in. Brad Johnson gets rid of it. Hey, Shelton Quarles with a nice catch on the sideline for the linebacker. Don't forget, coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy with the scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports Ticker will keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats on all the late games.
How about the job this offensive line has done today? And they know their quarterback was coming in with a rib injury. Brad Johnson fractured his rib just under a month ago, and this team has been much maligned up front offensively, Kurt. They've done a super job giving Brad Johnson time.
3 receivers again on second down. Carolina backs out of the defensive front they had shown. Michael Pittman coming out of the backfield, not expecting that one.
And Brad Johnson can live with that. He doesn't care about those. He makes good decisions. He manages the football game. Knows he's got to get to Pittman in his check versus this defense. Pittman doesn't get the head around quick enough. And again, that's okay. That's okay for Brad Johnson. Don't make mistakes. It's the most important thing for him.
This is a big play for the Carolina defense because right now Tampa Bay not in field goal range. Got to get the ball to the 34 for the first down. Johnson throws that one incomplete in the direction of Keyshawn Johnson.
Great coverage downfield.
And so after the turnover, Tampa Bay will be forced to punt.
They've tightened up the middle of the field. This guy has been exploited there, Will Witherspoon. Matchup zone, he'll pick up. And it just, what it was, Kurt, was just the coverage downfield. And Brad Johnson had nowhere to go with that football. Again, that's okay. Punting is okay in this offense.
Yeah, but you'd like to get some points when you get a turnover in your opponent's territory. Tom Tupa on the punt. That one will roll down all the way into the end zone for the touchback. Well, the Buccaneers obviously looking to win today, but they've got a huge game coming up next week. Warren Sapp gets to visit his old buddy Brett Favre and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next week on Fox. It's game 2 of our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. And of course, the Packers go into that one after losing to Minnesota today with a record of 8-2. Right now, Tampa Bay standing at 7-2 and tied at 10 with a minute and a half to go here in the first half against Carolina.
As you know, Brett Favre is a lot better player on grass than he is on turf, and should be a great matchup next week between those two clubs.
Carolina takes it over after the touchback at the 20-yard line, working with all 3 timeouts. Deep. Overthrown in the direction of Wesley Walls. Incomplete.
I really believe Rodney Peete is having trouble with that right middle finger throwing that football, Kurt. I mean,
well, they don't have a first down at all here in the second quarter.
And he hasn't hit that ball where he usually can do it the 15-yard outs. the balls where guys will sit down in the zones. And if he has time, Rodney Peete usually drops this right on the money. Today, he has had problems with his accuracy. And I'm not so sure that the splint on that right middle finger on his throwing hand doesn't have something to do with it.
And Walls limped off the field once again after that incompletion. Lamar Smith. He's going nowhere, maybe a yard on the play. Warren Sapp wrapped him up behind the line of scrimmage along with Derek Brooks. 2 for 7, 7 yards, and an interception.
Not good numbers. And talked about that middle finger, Kurt. You just saw the trainer looking at it and put some extra tape on that right middle finger. This is an area they've really struggled. Third down this year, Carolina Panthers.
They've got to get it to the 30 to keep this drive going. Lamar Smith on the draw play, bounces it outside. That's actually D. Brown now in the game, and Brown gets enough for the first down.
Draw play very effective against this Tampa D line, and I'll tell you why. Because you've got guys up front that like to roll off the football. It's all about the get off, the snapping off the football, get them caught upfield, run a draw at them.
Heat from the shotgun. Quick pass out to Brown. Short pickup of 3 yards on the play. Rondé Barber on the tackle. And Carolina going to use...
You know what? With the splint, I think he's better than anything else they've got over there on the sideline in Fasani and Chris Winkie.
Second down. Pete dumps it off to D. Brown. Brown makes a couple of moves, gets a first down out to the 44-yard line. And Carolina uses its second timeout after the 9-yard catch and run by Brown. The Panthers with 1 timeout left to stop the clock one more time before halftime. And at halftime, of course, we've got the Visa halftime report. That's why they call it the halftime report.
That makes sense.
It does.
Neat how that goes together.
Every now and then TV makes sense to us. Wesley Walls being worked on the sideline there, and you've seen him go out of the game a couple of times today. Of course, he's a big weapon that they like to go to, especially in possession situations like they have right now.
Look at Rodney, both middle fingers taped, one dislocated, one on the other hand, the tendon has been torn. And let's not also forget 3 weeks ago he had his knee scoped.
That's what happens. You've been in this league 14 years and become a starter for the first time, actually playing at all for the first time really in 3 years. Penalty marker on the play. D. Brown bobbles it. Picks up maybe a yard, but looked like Warren Sapp may have jumped the gun.
A little bit too early. We talked about how these guys like to get off the ball. And as a D lineman, Kurt, it's everything. And the get off is everything. If you can beat that guy to the punch.
Number 99, defense. 5 yards, first down.
Usually win that battle, and here he is. Outside shade of the right guard there. Takes off a little too soon.
And the other thing it does is, at least temporarily, it stops the clock for Carolina.
Good point.
Without them having to use a timeout. Ball at the 49-yard line. Quick pass out to Brown. And D. Brown slips a couple of tackles, gets it down to the 37-yard line. Shelton Quarles with a stop there, 14 yards on the reception, and Pete wants to spike it to stop the clock one more time.
Curtin, if you're wondering why everything is underneath, because that's what you have to take against this Tampa defense. The way they play their cover two, dropping Shelton Quarles way back, play those safeties deep. They don't give you an opportunity to throw to the teeth of their coverage.
Now, Shane Graham's long this season is 50 yards. Right now, it'd be right about the 55-yard mark.
What they hope, and they'll get everybody deep, and you got the 2 deep safeties. What they hope is that you'll throw it in here, and then they'll come up and make the tackle. And that's what they do. They miss a tackle, they're in trouble, and that's what happens there. Brooks misses the tackle, D. Brown picks up extra yards.
Pete rolling out to his right. Gets rid of it to preserve time, incomplete. 9 seconds to go on the clock. Being pressured by Warren Sapp as he rolled out. John Fox wanting a flag thrown because Rodney Peete got hit after he got rid of the football.
I think he just feels sorry for Rodney. Rodney's 36 years old, and you know these hits don't feel good.
Well, and they also, once again, need the yardage because right now it's a 55-yard field goal attempt. 9 seconds to go, and they do have that timeout to stop the clock. So they can work the entire field here. Deep. With time, Nick Goings gets down to the 26-yard line with 1 second to go here in the first half.
Great decision from Rodney Peete. He wanted it over on the left side of the field. The coverage was there. Had to go back to a safety outlet, kicks it over to the right side to Goings. Gets out of bounds. Now they have an opportunity to get themselves 3 points. Good decision from Rodney Peete.
Shane Graham, who already has a 42-yard field goal in this game, will try one from 44. Sauerbrunn gets it down, and Graham gets it up. No good. It curved, but it curved behind the upright. That's the end of the first half. We're all knotted at 10. Sauerbrunn gets it down, and Graham gets it up. No good. It curved, but it curved behind the upright. That's the end of the first half. We're all knotted at 10. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. And Carolina Panthers all knotted at 10. Kurt Menefee along with Tim Ryan. And you take a look at this first half, and the difference so far really has been turnovers in a game where the score is equal.
Absolutely, and I think give both defenses credit. First of all, give Carolina credit for forcing the turnovers. And you'll see the one here on Stecker. That was a big play. And then Tampa Bay defensively.
Well, they weren't able to stop them.
They weren't able to stop them. They give it up there. And then, of course, another fumble here by Pittman. Defensively for Carolina has done a terrific job giving their opposition, their offense, an opportunity to get into the end zone.
All 10 of Carolina's points so far off of the 2 turnovers. Meanwhile, the Carolina Panthers defense has stood strong for the most part, giving up only 10 points to Tampa Bay in this game.
I think the big thing, if you're Carolina defensively, you have to figure out, Kurt, a way to get more pressure on Brad Johnson. This is the #1 sack crew in all of the NFL with 33 sacks. They have not gotten good, consistent pressure on Brad Johnson today. They'll need to in the second half of this game.
Let's take a look at the halftime statistics, and you see a big, big disparity in the yardage, especially when it comes to the pass game.
And a lot of that, I think when you look at what Tampa Bay has done, and you see 177 yards there, a lot of it has been over the middle of the field. They've really attacked Will Witherspoon, the rookie middle linebacker for the Carolina Panthers. They've confused him and have gotten some big plays in the middle part of the field.
But the turnovers have kept Carolina in it, and they will receive the kick to start the second half. D. Brown. Out to the 36-yard line on the return. So Rodney Peete will begin half number 2 from there. Peete in that first half, 10 of his 19 passes were completions, 93 yards, but really kind of went in a funk there in the second quarter. And we noted the middle finger on his throwing hand, along with the middle finger on his left hand as well, but both really bothering him, he told us, this week.
Absolutely, and it's the splint on the throwing hand on the right middle finger, I think, that he's having a problem with. He has not been able to drop that deep ball where he usually does.
They come out in a 2 tight end formation. Steve Smith can't hold on to it as Brian Kelly hits him immediately. Kelly had a nice first half with the interception and some good coverage as well.
Well, he sure did. And he's got 4 interceptions this year. We talked about him being tested. And he's tested, Kurt, week in and week out because of the guy on the other side, Rondé Barber. And they have not chose to go Rondé's way. Here they go to Steve Smith in a stop route. And watch the break. That's the big thing that Brian Kelly can do. His speed to break on the football and knock that thing loose.
Carolina has both Chris Mangum and Jermaine Wiggins in at tight ends. No Wesley Walls so far. That one's knocked down by John Lynch, incomplete.
Monty Kiffin is so good at what he does scheme-wise, and he just drops John Lynch into the box here, and John Lynch is right where the football ends up being. Such a heads-up player. And watch Lynch. He's going to move right over to here, and then he's going to bat this football down as soon as Rodney throws it. Great job scheme-wise for that Tampa Bay defense.
Brings up a 3rd and long for Carolina. They're 3 of 5 today in third downs with more than 6 yards to go. Lamar Smith coming out of the backfield, and he's not going to get there. Needed the 46. Stopped at the 39 by Derek Brooks.
Yeah, that's what they do on defense, Kurt. They make you throw everything in front of them, and then they come up and make tackles. And they're all terrific tacklers. It's the area they really wanted to improve on coming out of that Minnesota game a few weeks ago. Before the bye, they didn't feel they tackled very good in that game. They wanted to improve that, and they feel that a lot of it is just attitude and want to. And Brooks gets in there and pulls down the tackle for the solo.
Todd Sauerbrunn on to punt. Carl Williams back deep. And he takes it. Penalty marker down on the play as well. As Williams is wrapped up by Witherspoon, but let's see what the flag's all about.
Manuel McDaniel just got mugged. He's a gunner on the punt team. Outside guy that runs down and tries to force that thing. See the hat, he went out of bounds. I can guarantee it was Emmanuel McDaniel.
During the kick, the receivers will keep the ball after the penalty for their foul.
Yeah, it won't matter. Down. They call holding.
Yep, that's what it was.
Tampa Bay, Corey Ivy called for it. And so they'll be backed up deep into their own territory as they get the ball for the first time here in the second half. Tampa Bay takes over for the first time here in the second half. They have the same starters on offense that began the game. Carolina, same starters on defense with the exception of Dante Wesley starting for Reggie Howard at corner. Brad Johnson completes that one out to Keyshawn Johnson, and good start for Brad, who had missed his last 5 passes at the end of the first half.
So you want to be a gunner on the punt team, Kurt? Watch here as Emmanuel McDaniel gets held there by Corey Ivy. That's where the penalty was. Watch him keep working. He's only about 10, 12 yards out of bounds.
We'll get Corey Ivy some points with the coaching staff, not quitting. They don't like to hold, but they're glad he didn't quit.
Hey, if you're going to have a penalty, make it an aggressive penalty, right?
We stop the clock for the measurement here on the first completion, and you'll see it's a couple of feet short. So it'll be second and officially 1 yard to go.
Again, what you like to see on that first down was the ability to give Brad Johnson the protection that he needs in this offense. Keyshawn Johnson said it during the week. Hey, if you give number 14 time, he'll dice you up. He absolutely will, and really been able to exploit the middle part of that field.
Well, we talked about how Rodney
today.
Pete is a 14-year veteran. I mean, let's not forget, this is the 11th year for Brad Johnson, a guy who's been a good quarterback for a long time. Michael Pittman doesn't get much there, and really in the first half they came out trying to throw the ball and using it to their advantage, especially in the middle of the field.
Yep, knew they had Will Witherspoon, the rookie middle linebacker, out there and really looked to hit that part of the field. I can tell you though, to the credit of the Carolina Panthers, and they were hit hard with it early. They tightened up that area in the second quarter and played better defense.
First down after the run by Pittman. Keyshawn Johnson in motion and winds up being a blocker for Pittman, who is leveled. Mike Minter with the big-time hit. Stops him right there at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Offensive leaders from the first half for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Keyshawn Johnson, 6 big catches, 57 yards, and that touchdown. As they've tried to get Michael Pittman going, he's now got 10 carries in this ball game, but averaging less than 3 yards per. Johnson under pressure, brought down for the sack by Shane Burton. First sack of the game for Carolina.
Shane Burton is in there because Brenston Buckner came up positive for ephedra and has been suspended. Here's Burton right here at left defensive tackle. And he did pretty good in that game. Throws the rip move on Christie, keeps working. Not great effort there by Jeff Christie.
Burton getting his first sack of the year, coming over in the offseason from the New York Jets.
So what do? You get a sack and you go to the sideline because now they've got their dime package in with only 3 rushers up front.
On 3rd and long, they have to get the 30. Shovel pass to Michael Pittman, and that one sniffed out. Carolina not fooled at all. Mark Fields right there to wrap him up along with Mike Rucker.
Witherspoon and Fields are going to be the guys. There's Will Witherspoon at middle linebacker. Which Rucker doing a great job. Nobody was fooled on that play. Mike Rucker just played that perfect, just getting under Cozy Coleman, the pulling guard, and making a big tackle for loss.
So Tom Tupa on to punt from his own end zone. He's kicking against the wind. Keeps it low. Steve Smith going to watch it bounce out of bounds. In Carolina timeout, Keyshawn Johnson, the wide receiver from the Buccaneers, being escorted into the locker room.
That's not a good sign. They'll definitely need Keyshawn last quarter and a half of this football game.
We'll try and get an update on his condition. See what's going on exactly. Lamar Smith. Couple of moves. Nice run of 8 yards. Out to Los Angeles and JB for game break.
Hey, Kurt, meanwhile, the update on Terrell Owens. Still haven't found a way to stop him. Take a look at this. You know he scored a touchdown at the end of the first half. This touchdown here, 76 yards. Second touchdown of the game for Owens in a span of 2 minutes actual running time on the clock. San Fran up by a touch. Back to Kurt and Tim.
Well, JB, you know, Pam Oliver did a fantastic job on the pregame show about that Garcia to Owens touchdown connection. And you're seeing it come through right there with 2 quick ones so far. D. Brown wrapped up in the backfield will lose a yard. Simeon Rice on the tackle.
Talking about the pregame show, Kurt. I mean, this has got to be a, you know, Howie's on the pregame show. This game here is a defensive lineman's dream game. You got great defensive lines on both sides of the ball playing great football.
You sound more like Madden there than you do. Yeah, defensive lineman playing great football. And you got football players and a couple of football, and then you got some football. I love John Madden, so don't anybody take that the wrong way.
That's right.
3rd down. They have to get it to the 44. Lamar Smith lowers his head. He'll be close. Shelton Quarles on the tackle, but we will see where they spot this one. And that will be timeout for measurement, just to get things checked out. This Tampa Bay defense tried their best to prevent him from getting there.
In base defense, too. And they weren't even in short yardage defense. Trying to stuff that thing at the line of scrimmage. Lamar Smith just puts his head down and then carries Shelton Quarles a couple more yards to get close to that first down mark.
And you could hear from the reaction of the crowd, they are inches short. So it's a 4th down, and they will send the punting unit out onto the field. Would you punt it here? Would you go for it? Might this be a situation for a fake punt?
No, I'd punt it. I mean, they're in a position with a fake punt, but this is what you call safe defense for Tampa Bay. They don't have their punt return team on the field, Kurt. They have their base defense.
Just in case it is a fake.
That's right.
All the way back to Sauerbrunn. He kicks it away. High, booming kick. Down inside the 5, and they had a chance as Rod Smart was there. But he hate me gonna hate himself after not catching that one. We said we weren't gonna do that. Yeah. He hates it when you do that. It's too easy for him.
He's smart.
That he went to the locker room to have checked out. Empty backfield on 1st down. Aaron Stecker. And Stecker out near the 1st down marker. Mike Minter on the tackle.
Good execution on the screen pass here. And watching these guys on film, that's an area where they needed to improve. They usually had not run the screens very well. Here they catch Carolina in a blitz, sets up perfectly, and then the broken tackle on Deion Grant is everything.
And Stecker gets enough for the first down. Michael Pittman kind of collided with Brad Johnson just a little bit on the handoff, and that was enough to slow him up and let Hannibal Navies grab him for the tackle.
The Panthers go in at halftime, and you know they wanted to compound on what they did in terms of adjusting, Kurt, in the second quarter to defending the middle part of the field. And whether that's doing less blitzes with your outside backers to help in that middle part of the field, whatever it is, Jack Del Rio has found a way to help protect Will Witherspoon in the middle, and have done a good job.
They've got 3 wide receivers in, do the Tampa Bay offense, or does the Tampa Bay offense. Quick pass incomplete. It's intended for Carl Williams.
Brought the quick blitz and made Brad Johnson get rid of that football before he was ready. Mike Minter, be the guy here. Has to get rid of it before he wants to. Kurt forces the low throw.
So it will be a 3rd and long situation. Keyshawn Johnson now back in the game at wide receiver. He split out to Brad Johnson's left. They have to cross the 40 for the first down. Johnson under pressure, gets rid of it. Incomplete, intended for Keyshawn, who was covered by Dante Wesley.
Good job by Mike Rucker coming from the defensive end, and comes on a stunt is what happens. We talked to Mike Rucker, and the thing he talked about was not doing anything in the first half, just going with straight rushes, and then coming back in the second half and running stunts, and that's what they did there.
Oh, the rookie coming in and playing exceptionally well. Brad Johnson, only 2 of his last 10 completed. Another punt from Tom Tupa. Steve Smith picks it up.
Return.
32 yards. Carolina taking over at the 43-yard line. Game all knotted at 10, halfway through the 3rd quarter here at Raymond James Stadium. Rodney Peete gets it off quickly to Nick Goings, and Goings right out near midfield. We send it down to the field, and our own Chip Carter for an update on a couple of injuries. Chip?
Thanks a lot, Kurt. Wesley Walls is questionable for the second half, probably will not return. Keyshawn Johnson walked into the locker room for x-rays. Those were negative. Put the pads on, and we'll be back out there.
All right, thanks a lot, Chip. With a tie ball game, both those teams needing both those big-time receivers. Deep. Stripped. Simeon Rice knocked it out, and Warren Sapp recovered.
Simeon Rice finished last year unbelievably. 8 sacks in the last 6 games, and just has picked right up where he left off last year. This is his 8.5 sack, and he just goes right around Todd Stussy. That's all speed. He dips and then swats that football loose from the blind side. That's what those guys work on, getting around and then batting that football out of there.
Well, think of the fact that both sacks by Tampa Bay's defense today by Spires and Rice, they've knocked the ball out.
Yep.
On first down, Michael Pittman through a hole. Pickup of 8 yards on the run. Well, Simeon Rice is, well, he's one cool cat.
Yeah. Look at him. Right now, he knows he's swatting for that football. They practice that, to knock that football loose. Remember when LT used to do that? That kind of started the whole around the corner and knocked that thing loose. And Warren Sapp picks it up and says, I think this is yours, Simeon.
Maybe an early Christmas present. On second down. Pittman dancing. Going to be out near that first down marker.
They brought Simeon over from Arizona and really didn't play great for Tony Dungy and company when they first got him in here. First half of the season, didn't do a great job. And again, the last 6 games really turned it up. And as you see here, it's now 8.5 in week number 11.
Picked it up at the finish of last season and has continued through the start of this year. And I say he's a cool cat because he refers to everyone as cat and man.
We heard his thing on the pregame coming in today, and
he's just an interesting guy to talk to, period.
Back.
He is really laid back, kind of in his own little world, but not in an offensive kind of way.
And one thing he's done is he plays the run better now. He's always a pass specialist. Now he's a guy that can hang in there in the run.
Hey, coming up on the Fox News Channel, Hannity and Combs with an eye on Iraq. With the world watching, can the UN carry out its mission to disarm Iraq, or will it be a shell game in the sand? Get in on the heated debate on Hannity and Combs on the Fox News Channel. Check your local listings for time in your area. Buccaneers on 3rd and very short. Brad Johnson, second effort, looks like he got it. Out to Los Angeles and JB for another game break.
Hey, Kurt, as you're well aware, viewers join us throughout the telecast. We wanted to make them aware that Donovan McNabb, Eagles quarterback, here earlier today on the 3rd play of the game, sacked by Adrian Wilson, broke his ankle, played the entire game, stayed in the pocket, did not rush, was 20 of 25 in the victory, but could be lost for the entire season. Back to Kurt Menefee and Tim Ryan.
Well, you hate to look at it like this, but this is how football goes. The Giants are looking at it and going, we're only a game back. And the Philadelphia Eagles are the only team remaining on the Giants' schedule with a winning record.
Remember, up until last year, the Giants have really had Philly's number.
After the first down, Brad Johnson. Dropped by Michael Pittman.
Tell you, a heck of an effort by Brad Johnson picking up that first down. And Chris Jenkins and the D-line for Carolina really blasted up inside there. And Brad Johnson just tremendous effort. Watch Jenkins. Watch him blow this thing up. And then Brad Johnson, all on second effort, gets the first down. That boy is just country tough.
Well, he's from Black Mountain, North Carolina, which he says is just about 7 miles away from Asheville. Pittman, stiff arm, but can't get away from everybody as Mark Fields uses his speed to drop Pittman for a loss of a yard.
When watching film, and both of these defenses got great speed. I'd say Tampa's probably a little bit better, but here's Mark here. Watch his speed to the football. But he's a guy that, in talking about speed on both defenses, he's a guy that could just move right over and change uniforms and play for Tampa Bay. He's that kind of player. He has that type of speed and that big playability.
Well, Tampa Bay needs a big play on 3rd down. They have to get it to the 24. Here comes the blitz. Johnson gets rid of it, and it's incomplete in the direction of Ricky Dudley. Pressure coming on Brad Johnson from the corners.
And this is what Del Rio will do. Terry Cousins on the corner blitz. Reggie Howard, that's a double cornerback blitz. Mark Fields coming up the middle. That is a whole new wrinkle. Did not see that in the first half, and that's what Del Rio does. Switches things up, and look at Witherspoon no longer playing the middle of the field in pass defense. Jack Del Rio has it. And you ask John Fox about Del Rio. He says if some coaches have it, Del Rio has it.
Whatever it is, he was a member of that Baltimore staff that won the Super Bowl and set the record for fewest points allowed back in 2000. Tom Tupa with the pooch punt. Does a good job as it rolls dead and out of bounds right at the 15-yard line. Only 19 on the punt, but he did exactly what they wanted him to do. Well, you saw this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense stand tall on that last possession, getting the turnover. If you want to see them, you don't have to wait until Sunday. Coming to the World Wide Web near you, just about everybody on this defense. You see Derek Brooks, Hit 55 is his website. Simeon Rice, who forced the turnover, has one. And then, of course, the big fella who recovered it. Warren Sapp.
The QB killer. Look at all the quarterbacks he's sacked as the ones with the white X's. Yet to have a white X on Rodney Peete. Of course, Rodney's been sacked today, but not by that big boy right there, Warren Sapp.
Well, he's pinning his ears back right now with Carolina starting at the 15. Hand off to D. Brown. Hit by number 99, Warren Sapp.
I think they are absolutely convinced if Carolina is going to run the football, it's got to be via the draw, because they know that's the only area. Really, they've been vulnerable in run defense. Warren Sapp playing the draw the whole way there on Jamar Nesbitt, forcing the issue. This is what he loves. Now it's time for Warren Sapp to play some football.
His time of the game at his time of the year. Crowd getting loud. Draw play again. Caught from behind this time. No chance to go anywhere.
Well, they know it's
Ellis
coming.
Wims wrapped him up.
Kurt, they know it's coming. Simeon Rice is absolutely sure this is a draw. Watch Simeon. He's going to get back and just settle. Settles down and goes and makes the tackle, running down Lamar Smith from behind. I guarantee you, Monty Kiffin grabbed these guys in the locker room, the defensive coordinator, and said, look, fellas, the draw is what they're getting us with. Let's be ready for it. And these guys have responded.
Apparently the pub, not just on their websites, they're living up to it. 3rd and long. They have to get it to the 25. Intercepted. Dwight Smith with the pick. Second turnover of the second half created by Tampa's defense. 3rd of the game.
Smith on Smith here, and Dwight Smith wins this battle. He knows the slant is coming. Watch him get over the top of it right away and go get the football. Not a great slant route by Steve Smith, but Dwight Smith had it played right the whole time. When he looked up at the quarterback, he saw Pete's eyes right over to that slant route on Steve Smith, jumped it, made the break, and got the big interception.
3rd turnover of the day. Tampa Bay starting inside the 20. Michael Pittman loses 3 yards on the run. Al Wallace sniffed that one out. Well, you look at this ball game. So far, Carolina scored all 10 of its points off its 2 turnovers that it took away from Tampa Bay. This is the 3rd turnover created by the Tampa Bay defense, yet they're still looking for their first points.
Give credit to that Carolina defense for coming in what we call sudden change. When everything changes, the possession changes, the momentum changes, and the defense suddenly has to get in the football game. They've come up big in this area today, and this time will be bigger than ever.
After a loss of 3 on the first play, 2nd down. Johnson with time. Open. Keenan McCardell walks into the end zone for the touchdown. Yards on the touchdown pass from Brad Johnson to Keenan McCardell. Martin Gramatica for the extra point. And the interception turns into 7 for Johnson and the Buccaneers.
Breakdown in the coverage for Carolina. McCardell was so open. Turned around, thought he was going to get hit, and I think kind of surprised him, Kurt. He's going to come out of this area. You can't see him. Watch him turn around. He's ready ready to take the hit. There's nobody there.
Where is everybody?
Wide open. Brad Johnson is with him the whole time. Look at, he's ready to take a shot. Terry Cousins, nobody is around, and he's going to go up for the little vertical layup.
That was a finger roll.
Yeah, finger rolled it.
Well, George Gervin action.
One thing George could do, and that was finger roll. Look at that.
Brad Johnson celebrates. He's got his full complement of wide receivers back. McCardell, we mentioned, missed 2 games with a bruised back. Comes back, catches the touchdown. Joe Jaravicius had missed a game with a bad knee. He's had a couple of big catches. And of course, Keyshawn Johnson has been here all along, but having the help from the other guys certainly makes a difference.
And let's remember, they're going against the 3rd best defense in the National Football League in Carolina. And this offense could be getting right, Kurt, at the right time for the second half push.
Nathan Black takes it at the 15. White Smith, who had the interception, stopped him after the 14-yard return. Well, keep in mind, Tampa Bay goes north next week as they take on. Pardon me, that game is here.
Yep.
Well,
they don't leave Tampa in the month of November.
You're right. There are 3 games at home and then 1 bye week. So Green Bay at Tampa Bay next week right here on Fox.
They've already won 4 or 5 on the road, and it's Tampa Bay team. They're in uncharted territory, Kurt. I mean, usually this is a 3 and 4 football team at this point in the year.
Trying to hang on today to win, to go 8 and 2. But Carolina wanting something to say. However, this defense is coming up big late in this ball game. Derek Brooks with the tackle.
This is where this defense really starts to feast, and it's a situation where they get up, going into games, and now it's time to get after it. And again, the draw play for the Carolina Panthers. Dan Henning has got to do something to change things up in terms of running the football. And they have to be able to run, Kurt. I mean, they can't go and pass 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Their defense will come out and get crushed.
Second down. Pete. Screen pass. Nick Goings. It's going to be about a yard shy of the first down as he fights his way out to the 39.
The defensive line, the way they run and pursue after the football. Big sapped out of here. Watch this. Rushing the passer, realizes it a screen, now gets on his horse and gets going. Taking a look at Warren Sapp in practice the other day, and you and I have both seen this guy over the years. He's probably in the best shape that he's been in a while. He's got his weight down, and it shows with his performance on the field.
That'll be the end of the 3rd quarter. The Tampa Bay defense standing tall, but Carolina still in it. It's a 7-point ball game here in Tampa. Right here on the field, key 3rd down situation, 4th quarter of a 7-point game.
You see the 4 there. That's something we learned way back in Pop Warner. When the 4th quarter comes around, and I guarantee you guys on both sides of the field are holding that 4 up. But Warren Sapp is getting this crowd fired up. And this is where this football team plays its best, in the 4th quarter.
About a yard to go on 3rd down. Play action. Pete has the time, throws it too high for Steve Smith, incomplete, and Pete. We talked about that finger and whether or not it's affecting him. All his incompletions today, it seems, have been high.
They have. They've all sailed on him, and it's that middle finger he's had a problem with. Tore the flexor tendon at the end of that middle finger. It's got a special splint on it, and he has not been able to have the accuracy that Rodney Peete is known for today. And I guarantee you, Rodney won't use it as an excuse. He won't talk about it. I guarantee you that's played a major role today.
4th 3 and out for Carolina's offense. Sauerbrunn. That ball may have been tipped.
It was.
Goes forward. Todd Yoder has 92 yards after getting 70 in a touchdown on the opening drive. Brad Johnson. Hit as he throws. That one goes out of bounds. Incomplete. And this does not bode well for Carolina either. Going into the 4th quarter here. This is the Buccaneers offense best scoring quarter and Tampa Bay's worst defensive quarter as far as points allowed.
And it makes sense when you look at what Carolina has done. I mean, losing 5 of 6 in the last 5 minutes of football games, that's the area where they've needed to improve, especially versus a 2-minute offense. And the 4th quarter has been their Achilles heel, Kurt, all year long, as you mentioned.
2 tight ends end on 2nd down. Johnson. Quick pass out to Keyshawn Johnson. And that's good enough for the first down and a gain of 16.
You cannot give Keyshawn Johnson this kind of cushion on a slant. I mean, he will slant Dante Wesley to death. The rookie out at corner, and he's up in press coverage. When you're up in press coverage like this, you better reroute and get a good jam. No reroute, no jam. Gets him spun around, and he's dead. Keyshawn knows. Just another first down, baby.
Just in case our referee, Bob McElwee, hadn't figured out where the spot was. Keyshawn helping out the officials. He's already in the holiday spirit. Off the play action. Johnson hit from behind by Julius Peppers. Ball comes out, and Michael Pittman finds it. And they pick up 2 yards just like they planned.
That's great effort by Julius Peppers, because what happens is he falls down running the edge and trying to get to Brad Johnson. He's going to come around and he'll run the edge and he'll slip and fall down, but he'll get back up and get the sack and the forced fumble. Speed kills in this league. Pittman very fortunate to be able to recover that and it not be a turnover.
And turns it into positive yardage.
And that's the 11th sack for Julius Peppers, leading the National Football League as a rookie.
As we said, this is most likely his last game for the next month.
Which, frankly, I find absolutely ridiculous.
Johnson. Michael Pittman, he's hit hard. Hannibal Navies wraps him up. He's going to lose about a half yard on the play.
Kurt, let's talk about this for a minute. I mean, conceivably, Peppers is probably going to be suspended for coming up positive with ephedra in his system. Now, what it came from is either some Sudafed or a diet pill or Theraflu. There are so many things over the counter that you can buy at the drugstore that have ephedra in them. And I think it's totally out of line with what the NFL drug policy wants to do, for a couple of reasons. I just don't think it's right that a guy that can be on coke or crack or heroin or something like that can still be playing in this league and be getting tested, and a guy that takes a Sudafed is out for 4 weeks.
Well, the players' union agreed to it. That's where the gripe should be if you're a player. Keenan McCardell, no gripe with that one, and he catches one for another Tampa Bay first down. 17 more.
This one's out on Emmanuel McDaniel. McCardell, no jam again, no reroute, shakes him out of his boots, and McDaniel's lost. I mean, he was lost from the get-go when McCardell threw the fake on him and got him spun around. Once that happened, it was over. It was just pitch and catch. That's Keenan McCardell.
Brad Johnson, despite that funk where he was only 2 of 10, 21 of 36, 248 yards so far. Pittman picks up 2. Al Wallace in on the tackle.
Tampa is going to win this game, and if they're going to push Kurt to where they want to push to, and remember, this team's been in the championship game.
You've got to figure out. Wait. You've got to figure they're going to win already?
No, I said if.
Oh,
see, you
okay.
didn't hear the if.
I missed the if.
Said if they win this game, and if they want to be where they want to be, and as you see, they're 7-2 with an opportunity with New Orleans losing, going up to first place. They have to run the football better, and they have to. Period.
Well, so far today, they've only got 39 yards rushing on 20 carries, less than 2 yards per. Johnson to the air. Pulls it down instead. They're going to dive forward to the 25-yard line, where he stopped there by Deion Grant.
This is why Brad Johnson is such a good quarterback in this scheme. When you got great defense, you just need a guy that's going to make good decisions. And here he's got all day to throw, but he doesn't force it. He wants it there. No. He wants it there. No. Now he sees the lane. He's just going to take off and get what he can. Smart quarterback play. A rookie or a guy with less experience, believe me, tries to force that football in there.
And he puts them in another 3rd and short situation by doing so. They have to get it to the 23 for the first down. Pass caught by McCardell. Good enough for the first down at the 21-yard line. Talk about Brad Johnson spreading the ball around. We've seen McCardell, Jared Vicious, Keyshawn Johnson, Ken Dilger, Michael Pittman. Alstott. I mean, everybody on this offense seemingly has touched the football.
Did it a couple of weeks ago against Minnesota. I think 10 different receivers caught the football in that game, and I think that just comes from the familiarity and the comfort zone that he has with this offense. It's a whole new offense for him, for John Gruden, but he's like a sponge, Gruden says, wants information, thirsts for it, and knows how to process it.
And putting together a big drive here in the fourth quarter, 9th play, and approaching 6 minutes. Pittman finds a running lane down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Will Witherspoon with the tackle.
Dilger and Alstott working together here, but watch both of these guys. Dilger will come in motion, and then they'll lead Mike Alstott up in there as well. Nate Webster just overruns it, gets blocked, and gives up the easy cutback lane to Pittman.
Another red zone opportunity for the Buccaneers. Their 4th of the day. Johnson to the end zone, tipped by Deion Grant, intended for Keyshawn Johnson.
Remember earlier in the game when I said Keyshawn, you'll see him 2, 3, 4 guys around him, and Brad Johnson will still try to smoke it in there. He does it here to Keyshawn Johnson, and he's lucky this one isn't picked off by Deion Grant. You'll have Cousins over the top. You'll have Deion Grant there in the middle. Very lucky that wasn't intercepted. Like the way players do that. They call that the varsity limp. You look at your hands like it was your hand's fault.
Of course. It's like, why didn't you betray me?
You were supposed to catch that.
3rd down. If they get to the 10, they get a first. Brad Johnson just gets rid of that one as everyone was covered. Mark Fields was coming right at him. Didn't have a whole lot of time to try and look for other guys.
That's the speed factor of Mark Fields. He's coming right there out on the edge. Does not get chopped. Will force the issue on Brad Johnson to get rid of that ball.
Martin Gramatica, whose first field goal was actually hit at the line of scrimmage and still went in from 20 yards out, will attempt this one from 32 yards away.
Shane Burton got his hand on the first one.
That one, I'm not quite sure that one made it through cleanly either, but nonetheless, it does go through. And the cannons go off to celebrate 3 more points by the Buccaneers. They extend the lead to 10. And up there, just missed it, but maybe redirected enough with the breeze as it went by that they should sign him up to the field goal unit if you're Tampa Bay. He's helping more than hurting right now.
Get him over to the other side of the field, and this guy just believes he can block kicks and usually gets really close if not blocking them.
D. Brown takes the kickoff. Jermaine Phillips stops him right at the 27-yard line. Panthers take over.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, you think that ship is just there for decoration? It's not. There's a whole lot more that goes to it, and right now Rodney Peete and the Carolina Panthers are finding out as they are down by 10 points, 8 minutes left to play, just under, here in the fourth quarter.
Got to figure out a way how to get some yards now on this defense.
Picked off by John Lynch. That's not a way to do it, as Lynch gets the interception right at the 31-yard line. 3rd pick of the day by Tampa Bay's defense.
We talked about figuring out something, and you're right, that's not it. And Rodney just makes a bad decision to throw this football.
Interception was ruled down by contact. First down.
John Lynch is all over his check down receiver, and Rodney's just going to let this go. You can see it's not there. He wants it there. It's not. Now he lets it go, and Lynch just comes over the top, picks it off from D. Brown.
Brian Kelly, Dwight Smith, and now John Lynch. All 3 with interceptions, 4 total turnovers created by Tampa Bay's defense as they put a lot of pressure on Rodney Peete and Carolina.
Just amazing how that defense sits back and just waits. And eventually they are going to force you into a bad mistake.
Starting from the 31, Michael Pittman spinning his way out for 4 yards. We spin it back out to Los Angeles and JB for another game break.
Hey, Kurt and Tim, as you guys already know, Tommy Maddox hurt here in the third quarter of that game today, knocked out, awakened with no sensation. The update, he does have feeling and some movement in his extremities. His family is with him at the hospital, and he will stay overnight for further examinations. Let's go back to Kurt Menefee and Tim Ryan.
Well, good news that he has some feeling back in his lower extremities, and never
Great news.
want to see that happen to anyone.
Great
Tommy
news.
Maddox is a good story and a good guy, too. Michael Pittman. Pittman with a nice run. Is going to be about 2 yards short of the first down. And excellent starting field position on this drive once again because of the job being done by the Buccaneer defense.
Yep. Look at that. One takeaway in the first half and 3 here in the second half. And again, I think it's brilliant by Monty Kiffin what he does, the defensive coordinator, scheme-wise, to put these guys in position to make big plays. And that's what coaches do, Kurt. They put the players into position, and then here in Tampa, more times than not on defense, the players deliver.
Only 24 yards allowed this half. They need to cross the 21-yard line for the first down. The pitch to Michael Pittman. A couple of blockers in front, and he does just that.
Remember how we talked at the beginning of the game when Carolina moved the football on that long drive and they got their touchdown? We said, that's great. You got to get that touchdowns early because you know what Tampa does. They adjust. Well, I'd say they've adjusted since that first drive against the Carolina offense. Absolutely nothing they have given up.
On both sides of the football, you saw only 24 yards allowed, but the offense has taken it and put points on the board.
Brad Johnson, I give this offensive line so much credit. They are going against the #1 defensive line in this league for sacks. They really got it going against Minnesota a couple of weeks ago and really had something to build on, and they've definitely built on it here today.
Mike Alstott follows the block from Jameel Cook and gets it outside for a gain of 5. Penalty flag on the play, and it'll come back holding against the Bucs.
Holding, number 43, offense. 10 yards, first down.
That's the 5th penalty of the day against Tampa Bay. And Jameel Cook frustrated.
How about the job that he has done here, coming back to Florida? Of course, his parents live here, and I asked him, I said, how's it been coming home, coming back? He goes, well, hey, it's football. It's not like I've been over at Mom and Dad's house for dinner. And I mean, this is football. This is John Gruden's life, and there is nobody more passionate about his job than John Gruden.
Aaron Stecker alone in the backfield. The pitch to Stecker. Not much running room as he picks up about 3 yards. And, well, we saw Alstott and Cook in the backfield together before. This time it was Stecker, and they all have different names for the different combinations.
Well, you see the Patriot is for Pittman and Alstott, PA, and then the Badger is for Stecker. He's from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I think he went to Western Illinois.
Right, but you grew up in Wisconsin, you got to be a Badger.
Gruden said he's going to call him a Badger, and then the Big Ten guys, get the Western Illinois guy, and then you've got Alstott, of course, there from Purdue, calls both of those guys the Big Ten guys, which they are.
Big Ten package.
That's right.
And right now, this would be the Patriot package, if I'm correct. Right?
Yep, Pittman, Alstott.
All right. And it's Pittman following the block of Alstott. Pittman, with a nice little run, picks up 5 yards on the play as we get down to the 4-minute, 10-second mark here in the fourth quarter.
There's the A for Alstott and Patriot, and there's the P for Pittman in Patriot.
Carolina uses the time.
Killed that drive there. Back to Kurt and Tim.
Carolina in the hurry-up offense. It's completed out to Steve Smith. He loses the football. Rondé Barber picks it up. Rodney Peter beat, and he steps into the end zone for the touchdown.
Wow. Muhsin Muhammad putting the ball down on the ground. Was it Steve Smith, I believe?
And the ball was stripped away by Dwight Smith, who also has an interception in this game already. Now forces the turnover that leads to the score.
Talked about how this Tampa team goes from defense to offense in a hurry. They force it loose. And then once a guy picks up, they practice this stuff. I mean, they practice the turnovers in practice and then finishing them and getting into the end zone, and that's what Rondé Barber does. Kicks it out to Steve Smith, and then Dwight Smith just, with that tackle, punches it loose. Now Rondé's off to the races. Wouldn't be surprised if this gets challenged here by John Fox.
Well, in this game situation,
Yep.
I mean, it's
Absolutely.
a 13-point game if you win the challenge, which is tough enough. If you don't challenge this, I mean, this game is virtually over.
Yeah.
So,
especially with how Tampa plays defense.
but take a look as you look at the replay, and this is good teams, good things happen to. Teams that struggle have bad things happen to, and this ball comes out. 9 times out of 10, it would roll out of bounds, but watch how it spins and stays in bounds. Watch it. That ball is just spinning there. You take a look, Rondé Barber never stepped out of bounds, nor did anyone who was out of bounds have possession of the football.
It's like it went right through the official's legs and stayed in.
Well, did it hit the official's foot? That's what I'm beginning to wonder. Look here.
Steve Smith is out of bounds when he touches that ball
But
right
he
there,
doesn't have possession.
But he doesn't have possession, absolutely.
So it's still a live ball. Rondé Barber picks it up and
That's
goes
touchdown.
to the house.
That's touchdown.
But that's where you talk about it. I mean, when teams have things going their way, you see it. 9 times out of 10, that ball goes out of bounds, but it just spins and stays right there, much to the detriment of the Carolina Panthers.
I mean, just to turn it on the other side, if you're the other team where all the bounces are going bad for you, John Lynch kicks it out right there.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen. But with these Bucks, with what they've done on defense, and they visualize making those big plays, and more times than not, that type of stuff comes to fruition.
5th turnover of the day. Look at the job done by their secondary. Dwight Smith has an interception and forced that fumble. Rondé Barber has a touchdown, picked up the fumble. John Lynch has an interception today. Brian Kelly has an interception today. This defensive secondary has really been a big catalyst for Tampa Bay.
I think Rondé's been upset because he hasn't gotten any pub all night because no one throws at him. Everybody's been going to Brian Kelly over there on the other side, and Rondé Barber says, hey, I'm going to get myself in the end zone and get a little pub here on national television.
Oh, Rondé Barber is a man who was tied for the NFL lead with 10 interceptions last season. Only has 1 so far this year, but as he told us, no one throws the ball in his direction anymore. So, you know, it's hard for him to get the interceptions. Here's the call.
Touched the football while he was out of bounds. The ball goes back to Carolina. It was in advance of the line to gain. So it's a 1st and 10. Carolina on the 30-yard line. Please reset the stadium clock to 3-3-4.
Oh, we take another look at this and see what...
Well, here's what he's calling. Steve Smith out of bounds there. He's out of bounds and reaches out and touches the football there.
He does not have possession of that football, however.
But his body is out of bounds and he touched it.
And if they're saying he was down as he touched it.
That's the interpretation. And that's where Fox was smart to review it. That's why you review it. Dead ball, touched, laying out of bounds.
And so the points come off the board. Carolina retains possession, and John Gruden doesn't like it. Deep to D. Brown. Well, you take a look and you saw Gruden upset. I think he knows the thing about the tuck rule, having been victimized by it last year, and that was the correct call. In this situation, correct call again, but as you can see, I think he says, you know, the rule doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It doesn't.
In that situation.
No, absolutely not, because Steve Smith had absolutely no control of that football when he touched it.
Carl Hankton on the reception. And
I am convinced of one thing now. Rodney Peete cannot throw the football deep in this game. That finger, when you see the right throwing finger on his right hand, the index finger, he's had a lot of problems with that splint trying to throw downfield, and he's just not even trying anymore.
Yeah, all they're doing is throwing underneath like this pass to D. Brown, who gets nowhere. And in a situation where you need 2 touchdowns with less than 3 minutes to go, you would think you'd try and get the ball downfield. Carolina uses its second timeout as night falls on Tampa. Vick under pressure from Simeon. Rice can't get away. Rice gets his second sack of the day. 9.5 sacks on the season for Rice now.
Excellent coverage downfield. Simeon just keeps coming, and athletically, Kurt, he is so much better right now at this stage of his career than Rodney Peete. No escapability away from Simeon Rice for Rodney.
They have to get to the 45 of Tampa Bay. Not even close, as Nick Goings is stopped at his own 39 by Derek Brooks.
Oh, and this is fourth down territory. I mean, they got to go for it. And they're still looking at, what, 4th and 16?
Yep, long drive. As we said, they're 45 of Tampa Bay is where they have to get. And they let the clock go down to the 2-minute warning so that they can talk things over and decide exactly what they want to do as they are working to the very end. Right now, his team needs a stop on 4th and 16. Rodney Peete working from the shotgun. Gets it complete out to Muhsin Muhammad. Good for the first down. All the way to the 33 of Tampa Bay. Shelton Quarles with the stop, but only after the pickup of 27 yards.
That's the best deep ball Rodney's thrown in 3 quarters.
And you see Tampa Bay tried to get the timeout. They could not. Penalty flag on the play as Muhammad makes the grab. This is good for 21 yards if it stands. Bob McElwee with the call.
12 men on the field, defense.
That's why Tampa was trying to stop the clock. We got 12 guys out there on the #1 ranked defense in the league, and they still completed for 21.
That's a good catch. Very good catch from Muhsin Muhammad, and would look like triple coverage out there.
Vick with the ball at the 11-yard line. Can't get it complete to Chris Mangum as he is hit by Derek Brooks.
And I'll tell you why Tampa is so good at red zone defense, Kurt, because the field is shrunk. And what are they good at? What is Tampa Bay good at defensively? Keeping everything underneath, keeping everything in front of them, and playing what I call underneath defense. Well, guess what? When you get in the red zone just by where the field ends, it's all underneath defense. That's why Tampa is so good with their backs against the wall. They've got the speed to close down those open gaps in the zone like nobody else in this league. It's all started by that guy right there, Derek Brooks.
On second down. Jermaine Wiggins, the big tight end, down to the 6-yard line. Brooks again on the tackle. You see the clock continues to move. Carolina with just 1 timeout remaining. Needs to get the ball into the end zone, then get it back on what most likely will be an onside kick.
Yep.
First time in the red zone today for Carolina. Almost picked off by Al Singleton. Muhsin Muhammad, the intended receiver, but Singleton was there to break it up.
Well, and it looks like it's going to be there. Like I said, it looks like Singleton is beat and the receiver's got a step. Rodney throws it, Singleton catches up and able to get in front of Muhsin Muhammad.
Speed
kills.
That's all you have to know. 4th down. Ball on the 6-yard line. They can get a first down at the 1. Brought down for the sack. Ellis wins.
Well, perfect example of that red zone defense. Play the shell or the umbrella coverage back, rush 4 guys, and get a sack. And it all goes hand in hand, as you'll see 4 guys coming up the field, everybody else dropping into that umbrella zone. Ellis Wims. Look at the bull rush. by Ellis Wims, just taking Donnelly and just planting him on his back.
4 sacks by the Buccaneer defense to go with 4 turnovers created.
Ellis Wims, and just another one of those guys that has provided tremendous depth along the front defensively for Tampa Bay in the last few weeks.
He's got 4.5 sacks on the year, and Brad Johnson and the Bucs will take a knee as their defense responded, especially in the second half, shutting down this Carolina offense. And now you know why Warren Sapp and the Buccaneers are the #1 ranked defense in the National Football League as they get the win over Carolina. 23-10 is the final. Carolina scored the first 7 points of the game, and it was the Bucs from that point on.
And how about this? John Gruden now, Kurt, 5-0 after a bye week.
And the Buccaneers now 8-2 on the year. Carolina.
That's nothing new for this Tampa Bay team, but I think a lot of credit, Kurt, has to go to that offensive line. Did a great job today versus the #1 sack defense in all the NFL.
Here's the UPS leaderboard delivering today's leaders, and Brad Johnson, a big day, 250 yards plus, 2 touchdowns, and the Buccaneer defense with the interceptions and the sacks to shut down Carolina. This is Kurt Menefee for Tim Ryan and Chip Carter saying so long from Tampa, Florida, where once again the Buccaneers win 23-10. We're going to join Futurama in progress, but don't forget, on Fox tonight, it's a new hour of The Simpsons at a special time, 7:30, 6:30 Central, followed by new episodes of King of the Hill and Malcolm in the Middle. For more info on today's game and the latest NFL news, be sure to log on to foxsports.com.
Fox Sports thanks you for watching this.